Gracias, Dios mío. Gracias. Gracias. Mi vida, mi amor. Ay, ay, ay. Qué feliz me siento al verte, mi gordo.
This is the first time 11-year-old Jaffet and his grandmother have seen each other in 6 months. The pair were detained and separated after crossing the U.S. border with Mexico. Once detained, Jaffet's grandmother Maria said guards came and took her grandson while she was sleeping. When she woke up, he was gone without explanation. She did not know where he was or if he was even alive. She was heartbroken. 3 months before Maria and Jaffet were detained, Jaffet's mother Karen had crossed the border with Jaffet's 2 little brothers. She was able to avoid detention as her asylum case works its way through U.S. Immigration Court. Karen contacted the authorities hoping to get her son and her mother out of custody, but had no success. Then one day she heard about Nexus Services. Nexus Services is a Verona, Virginia-based firm that provides legal services to immigrants. The company is known for their charitable work and for providing millions of dollars in pro bono legal aid to both undocumented immigrants and indigent U.S. citizens of all ethnicities. Once Nexus Services became involved in the case, it was a game changer. First, they sued the Trump administration, demanding the release of Jaffet. Then they paid $15,000 to have the grandmother, Maria, released on bond. The government still refused to release Jaffet. Nexus then moved Maria, Karen, and Jaffet's 2 little brothers to Virginia and provided them with a place to live, food, clothing, and transportation. A month after Maria was released, Breaking Through News was made aware of this family's devastating story, and we wanted answers as to why Jaffet was not being released. So with the help of Nexus Services, we partnered up with the host of Hermano Lejano, Berta Luz Campos Montoya, and we went to California on a crusade to free Jaffet. We focused in on the people that were holding Jaffet, Florence Crittenton.
How you doing?
Florence Crittenton advertises themselves as a nonprofit that mainly deals with foster and adoption services. But in reality, they are also in the detention services industry and operate several facilities that detain kids. It is in one of those facilities that they were holding Jaffet. The Department of Homeland Security pays places like Florence Crittenton $85 to $750 a day for each child they house. So these people were making money off of Jaffet's continued detention. I visited the home of Florence Crittenton CEO, Joyce Capel.
Excellent. Now, excuse me, I do want to go into my home now. If you would respect my private
Yes, ma'am.
boundaries.
So do you guys have a contract with the federal government, and how much do you get each day for each kid?
Have a nice evening.
Okay, see, I tried to fact check, and you wouldn't give me an answer.
No more?
Florence Crittenton CFO, Fritz Zispool.
Well, he's obviously not going to answer the door. These people are cowards. They won't speak to us. He won't even open the door to say hello, to even tell us to get off his property. But we're gonna get off of it anyways because he's not answering the door. This is our 2nd time knocking.
Florence Crittenton, Vice President of Shelter Services, Tristan Ingalanera.
You are the VP of Shelter Services. Miss Ingalanera, please come out and talk to us. Contact your bosses. Tell them to release Jaffet and stop making money off of him. How can you do this knowing you have children of your own? Are you investigating with terrorists?
In the home of what we believe to be Miriam Mendez, a social worker that was in charge of Jaffet's case.
So you got something to own up to, Miriam? Miriam, we know you're inside the house. Come on out and speak to us. We're ready to talk to you.
I often clashed with law enforcement in our quest for answers.
It would be easy for me to just pack up and leave and start over tomorrow, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So, I mean, I'd rather sit here and get arrested than leave. I'm serious. As a heart attack.
As well as with Florence Crittenton CEO, Joyce Capel.
So I just want to make sure that your viewers know that it's not our decision to make.
But it's you guys make the recommendation.
We haven't even gotten to that point yet.
After this much time, you haven't gotten to that point?
You know, it's all up to the Office of Refugee Resettlement.
But you guys are the ones dealing with the child directly. So you guys, I mean, the Office of Refugee Resettlement is not dealing with the child directly. Your facility is.
Yes,
your facility's making a lot of money every day that he's in there. Don't deny that part, please. How much money do they get a day for this kid?
Have a great day.
Okay, we have attorneys too. How much money do you make a day off of this child?
Last call, no water.
How many? We have our own money and our own waters. How much money a day do you make off the child? You do make the recommendation, right? How can you sleep at night knowing young Jaffet is in your facility?
You're not welcome on our premises. Please exit.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You
I
get all
sent-
that? Because I want to make sure it's
I
posted.
sent you a request for an interview.
While we didn't get the answers we wanted, we did get word that the government had agreed to a court hearing requested by the family's attorney for injunctive relief, which if granted by a judge, the government would have to release Jaffet immediately. The case was heard on Thursday, and by Saturday at 5:45 a.m., Jaffet was in the arms of his grandmother, mother, and little brother. The family now resides in Virginia. At a press conference following the reunification, Nexus Services President and CEO Mike Donovan called on all Americans to come together to oppose evil.
We have worked on dozens and dozens of family reunification cases. This is probably the most difficult that we've worked on. And so it is very, very nice to be here today, reuniting Jaffet with his mom and his grandma. My statement is one that I've made many times in dealing with situations like this, and that is that as Americans, both citizens and immigrants, those who are here permanently and those who call America home for a short period of time, we all have to unite against the hypocrisy and the evil that resides at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as it relates to these family separations. The courts have been clear. The President of the United States is supposed to comply with court orders to reunite families, and yet we continue to be here, having to take independent cases to get judges to order that children like Jaffet be placed in the custody and care of the people who know how to make sure his needs are met. His mother, his grandmother, his parents. The use of targeted enforcement to restrict asylum seekers' willingness to exercise their rights is unconscionable. It's also illegal. We will continue to fight for each case like this one so that individuals like Jaffet can be with his parents, because that's where kids belong. History will judge the United States of America based on what we do in this hour. We can't forget that there are hundreds of kids still separated from their parents. The time is now to reunite them.
Ay, santo Dios, ay, qué
In the Breaking Through newsroom, Theodore Whitelow for Breaking Through.